the the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's chainsaw, two words, not one. Ignore past Sledge sitting right behind me. This is the review for that game, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's not called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. It's just the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And allow me to give you some background on this game, what it is, what it's all about, because you might be a new player who doesn't know anything about it, who doesn't know what this game's based on or anything. So just dive right in. This is an asymmetrical horror game that is based on the 1974 horror film of the same name, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It features three family players who are much like the killer role in Dead by Daylight, which is the most popular game of the asymmetrical horror genre, and then four victim players, which are akin to the survivor role in Dead by Daylight. So it's a little bit different in the sense that there are going to be multiple players on the killer role side. That's kind of the unique aspect of this game. The draw of this game is the fact that you will have to work together as a team in the quote unquote power role. You start out in the basement as a victim. That's how the match starts. You're trying to escape from whatever map you're on by either activating one of two gates and getting out of those gates, either by lockpicking them or simply walking through them. There's four exits. There's the valve exit. There are the two generator exits. And then there is the basement exit that is activated via a fuse box. So like I said, the round starts in the basement. You are down there alone with Leatherface. Leatherface, at least up to this point in the tech test, is the one family member that is required to start the game because you need to have a Leatherface start in the basement with all the victims. So the victims start the game tied up in the basement. They then unhook themselves and they have to find a way out of the basement. Meanwhile, up top will be two of Leatherface's family members, of which you get to choose. In the tech test, it was the hitchhiker, who I am playing as here, and the cook. And their goal is essentially to set up while Leatherface patrols the basement and tries to prevent the victims from escaping the basement and advancing towards their objective of escaping the farm and the match altogether. While that is happening, the family players can collect blood and feed it to Grandpa. Grandpa is a stationary character on every single map that they can feed blood to. They get blood by going to meat bags that are spread out on the map or by successfully attacking players. When they feed blood to Grandpa, he levels up, and as he levels up, he gets a sonar ability where he yells, and any players who are moving while this sonar ability is activated will be shown to all the family members through the map. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, Hitchhiker, he specializes in chasing people. He could go through cracks and stuff, just like you saw me do right there. And he also gets 3 traps that he can lay down. The cook has the ability to listen for players, and any players that are moving while he uses that ability, he can hone in on them and then see their outline. He's the only one who can see their outline, so he has to communicate with his teammates who he has just spotted. And of course, Leatherface gets his classic chainsaw, and he specializes in destroying obstacles. There are various obstacles throughout the map that only survivors could get through, victims, I should say, could get through, and Leatherface will be required to destroy them. And then also there are like little vents that people can crawl through that Leatherface can also destroy to cut off yet another escape route. The goal of the family is to kill all the members of the victim team, and the victim team just needs to escape, and I believe all you really need to do is get one victim out, and I think the developers of this game pretty much consider that a win for the victim team. It's a really, really fun game. I had a ton of fun with it. I love how they have kind of turned the asymmetrical genre on its head by making the power role the side that requires the most teamwork. and just in general requiring teamwork at all for the power roll is really cool. I had a great time with it on both sides. I will say, because I know people are going to ask me, I'm not going to really talk about balance in this game because I think it's a silly conversation to have with how bare bones this tech test was. We don't know anything about how the full final product is going to play. It could be that perks make all the difference, particularly grandpa perks. Like grandpa, all he does in the tech test is help you spot people. It's possible that when grandpa perks are active, that he's going to like cause people to, not run as fast, lose their items. Who knows? There could be all sorts of things. So I don't know. I don't know that I could speak too much on balance, and also I think that there's a steep learning curve for the family, and that once people start to kind of figure out how to play that role, that things are going to get much more difficult for the victims. Because the general consensus seems to be right now that they think, like if you go on Reddit or Twitter, that the victim side has a significant advantage, and I think that that is true within the confines of the tech test, but that is leaving out context with the fact that the family side probably doesn't play too well together at the moment because they were just require so much coordination that not a lot of people are coordinating right now and don't know how to play their roles very well, don't know what they're supposed to be doing. Half the people I played with didn't even know to turn on a generator and a car battery to stop people from just walking out the main exits. And then also the perks, like I mentioned earlier, we don't have any of the perks right now, so we have no idea what kind of impact all of that is going to have on gameplay. Because I think that if you played a lot of the other asymmetrical horror games out there, if you stripped everything away and just got rid of all the perks, got rid of all the items, whatever people could bring in, and it was just mono e mono, no extra stuff to use, oftentimes the survivor side would have a massive advantage. So I think that perks make a huge difference. Like Dead by Daylight. If you know anything about Dead by Daylight, imagine playing Killer in that game and you couldn't run any slowdown perks and you couldn't run any, I don't know much about the DVD meta anymore, admittedly, but at the time, slowdown perks were a huge deal. Perks that stop people from healing, things like that. Stuff that hindered the progress of the survivor side. There's none of that in the tech test of Texas Chainsaw right now. So I think once that becomes a thing, it might seem a little more balanced. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe once the full game comes out, they're not going to have perks that make much of a difference. And all this stuff really is a problem. But I'm just saying, I think that right now we probably need to wait and see. And there are some things that I've seen that I think will likely still be an issue at launch. Like one of the things that I really think that the devs of this game are focused on is the atmosphere and feeling authentic to the original film. And with that is the idea that the victim players should be scared of the family. They should be stealthier and trying to hide from them as opposed to just immediately breaking loudly out of their restraints and running around with impunity. They're just not with no fear of anything. So in that sense, I think that the devs really want stealth to be a priority, and that maybe that's something that needs to be changed at launch to emphasize and to put more emphasis, I should say, put more emphasis on stealth, because right now people are just kind of running around doing whatever. So we'll see what happens at launch, but I had a great time with it. It's much different from other asymmetrical games I've played in the genre, and I've played a lot. I've played Dead by Daylight extensively, over 1,000 hours in that game. Played Evil Dead, obviously, quite a bit, if you've watched this YouTube channel. And I've played even some of the weirdest and wackiest and worst asymmetrical games out there. Dragon Ball Breakers, Ghostbusters, Poppy's Playtime, or what, Project Playtime, Prop Night. Like, I played it all, man. I played all the asymmetrical games out there. So, this is different from all the ones that I've played in the past, and I'm really looking forward to it. Uh, Obviously, the devs of this game, they are the ones who made Friday the 13th, if you're not aware. And one thing that you can say positively about Friday the 13th is that game had an incredible attention to detail. Like, it was a serious love letter to the Friday the 13th franchise, and this game looks to be much the same to the Texas Chainsaw franchise. So that's exciting. I think that it's probably in good hands. Asymmetrical games are always difficult to balance. So I'm not going to speak on that and how good of a job they may or may not do on that front, but I think that they will knock it out of the park when it comes to authenticity and being faithful to the source material. Already there's just so much detail in this game, and it's great so far. And someone's going to tell me that I'm shilling for this game or something. I promise you I'm not. I just had a great time with the game, and I would like others to try it, and I hope that this kind of becomes the next Evil Dead in a sense. I don't think any game will ever challenge Dead by Daylight. So if you're watching this video and you're looking for something to replace Dead by Daylight, maybe that'll be the case for you. Maybe you'll love this game so much more than Dead by Daylight, it will replace it for you. But I don't think it's going to be a competitor to Dead by Daylight. I don't think anything is ever going to be capable in this genre of knocking off Dead by Daylight. But if it can at least have enough staying power to be popular for a year or two and fun for a year or two, just like Evil Dead was, then that's great, because we need more fun games in this genre that I love. So I highly recommend you try this game when it comes out in August. I'm not sure what the release date is for this game. I believe they've said what it's going to be. I'll look it up. I wasn't prepared. But yeah, I fully recommend it. I think you should give it a try when it fully releases, especially even if you weren't able to give it a chance during the tech test. Go ahead and give it a chance when it fully launches on August 18th. August 18th. And fingers crossed that it doesn't get delayed or anything, because a lot of times when you're talking about smaller games like this, made by smaller studios, they have a tendency to get delayed right at the last second. I think Evil Dead had that happen. I think it got delayed by like an extra month or something, right? Like a month away from release. So hopefully that doesn't happen and it sticks to that August 18th release date. Hey, give it a try, folks. I think it's a really fun game. Let me know what you think about it. Hopefully no discussions on balance. I don't think we should be talking about that right now. I mean, I think it's way too early to be having those discussions. And I'm prone to it too. There's stuff that happens in matches where I'm like, maybe that's not so great. But just give me your thoughts on the game without discussing balance. Do you like that the family side has to work together? Do you like that they have 4 different exits to get out of? Do you like all that stuff? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked the video, please actually like it, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. And by the way, before I go, I want to let you know there will be some more Texas Chainsaw videos coming out on this channel, even though the tech test is over and the game is not coming out for a few more months. And then maybe I will transition back to some more Evil Dead content, but I will have some more Texas Chainsaw stuff coming out that are tips on how to play the game a certain way, how to get the most out of certain characters. Because even though the tech test is over, I think it'd be nice to have that content out there to give you a leg up for when the game finally does fully release. So that's the plan, and I'll see you in the next video.